Alright everyone, I'm here to give you another Breaking Bad review of the day. If you want to check out the one I made earlier today, you can go check it out on the playlist, or you can just check it out on the recent videos I've uploaded. Um, this Breaking Bad episode I thought was actually good, but I thought the last one was slightly better, but this was actually still pretty damn close. Um, it's called Open House, and the title is a perfect fit of the whole theme of this episode, just because it just fits perfectly. And you're gonna see why. Um, this episode is season 4, episode 3, and it came out on July 31st, 2011. The episode kicks off with Walter showing up to work, and we see that Gus has installed a camera, um, probably to make sure they don't do anything funny, because obviously Gus isn't trusting Walter and Jesse right now. So we see Gus has installed a camera, and Walter flips off the camera, and then it cuts to the theme song. I didn't really think it was a bad start to it. It wasn't anything like big. It's also, but I should mention, it's one of those cameras that follows you around. So wherever movement Walter goes, the camera will follow him. So then, what happens next? Skyler's like ringing the doorbell constantly because she wants to talk about the car wash. Um, and Walter doesn't want to meet with her, obviously, because he actually has a swollen eye too. Um, and she notices that, and she's wondering if he's in danger, which obviously he is because of the whole Gus situation, but she doesn't know about that. He says She says that he should just go to the police and tell them what's going on for the safety, even though you have to tell you're a drug dealer. But Walt doesn't agree, um, and he makes up some lie that he just got in a bar fight with one of his coworkers, and he didn't fight back because one of his friend the guy was older than him, and she makes Walter promise him that if he is in danger, then he'll tell her. And then at first Walter didn't even want to talk about the car wash, but then he talks about it. He wants to talk about it. I thought it was pretty solid stuff right here. Then we see Marie's at like an open house. I don't really know if you're buying these houses or if you can get like antiques in these houses. I'm gonna look it up. I'm on like the Wikipedia version. I don't know if you actually buy them or if those. Mm, Let me see if it tells us. Yeah, it's a real estate house. Um, and she lies about her name. She says that her name is Tori something. At first, I didn't really know what was going on. I thought Hank was forcing her to move out, so she was getting like a new house, or she was gonna secretly like leave Hank. I had no clue what was happening. Um, so then Marie says her name's Tori, and she makes up this bullshit story about how she does a lot of them. I think this one was she talks about how trying to remember because there's what was this one? She talks about how she's divorced, but she doesn't like to take the ring off because she still had it on. Talks about how she has a son, 4-year-old son, and she's gonna homeschool him, but she's not gonna keep him completely antisocial. She's gonna let him go to the camp out and play dates. Talks about how she likes to work with clay. Pretty much just bullshit. So I had no clue what was happening, so I didn't really know. I didn't really know what to make of it. So then Walter and Jesse are talking. They talk about the camera that's been installed in the lab, and Jesse wants to know Walter wants to know how Jesse's doing because of the whole situation of him having to kill Gail and the whole situation with Gus. And Jesse wants to know how Walter's doing after the injured eye. So I thought that was really solid stuff. Jesse does ask him if he wants to go do something later, like go have gold cards, but Walter takes a rain check. I thought it was kind of awkward. Is that my Wi-Fi going off? Yeah. That he was asking him that because Walter does not seem like the type of person that would want to play on gold cards. I'm just saying. And then afterwards, Saul is talking with Walter and Skyler about the car wash. Saul's trying to convince them to buy the nail salon instead. I think he even says that he'll give Skyler like a lifetime free supply of like manicures and all that stuff. But they want to buy the car wash because it makes more sense that Walter invests in the car wash. What else does she say? Walter at first agrees with Saul, saying that it's not going to work out and all that stuff. And he does there was this guy actually that ended up having to come in that we saw a few episodes ago, and he had to use Walter's bathroom. That was a funny scene. Anyhow, but I think Skyler says he'll change his mind if we give him an attitude adjustment. And then Walter says, "Well, I shouldn't have to state the obvious. Why do we have to pick this car wash? I mean," and he talks about how there's other car washes out there in New Mexico. Why does it have to be this one? And Skyler says that it has to be this one because she doesn't like this guy, and she tells Walter all the bad things that the owner said about him. So Walter wants to buy this car wash, and Saul's gonna come up with a plan and within a non-violent, unsuspicious way that they can buy this car wash. And I'm going to tell you what this plan is because it actually turns out to be a pretty good plan. So, what happens? Marie is at another real estate house, and she's looking at these spoons and talks about how there's 50 of them for each state, but they count I believe it's Puerto Rico or Portuguese. I forget which one. Actually, it's Puerto Rico, but it's not actually a state. It's a territory. And she meets this person, Stephanie something. I forget her name. And this time, Marie lies and says that her name is Charlotte, and that that she needs basement space because her brother works for like the army or something, and he needs to store all the stuff. She needs to store all the stuff down there. And then she talks about how her husband used to work for NASA, and he retired at age 53. What else did she talks about how she doesn't want to have kids. So this time the story is completely different. So then she takes off, and then we see Stephanie realizes that one of the spoons is missing. So we're pretty much implying that Marie stole it. I thought this was pretty amazing stuff, I'm not going to lie. I was actually pretty shocked. Marie pretty much went back to her roots because it actually did remind me of that episode. I believe it was at the end of Season 1 or the beginning of Season 2 when Marie stole the tiara. And she got Skyler in a lot of trouble for that. It completely reminded me of that episode, and they really ended it off. So I really liked that. So then Jesse's playing is on go-karts, and he's pretty much losing his mind. He starts screaming. He goes to like this party where people are like beating the crap out of each other. I don't know if it was at his house, but it was kind of weird. And later on, he starts throwing money around. He's just pretty much losing it. I'm actually enjoying this part of it. He didn't really have a big role in the episode, but I am enjoying this. It really is awesome stuff. And then Marie is this time at a different house, and this time she's going under the name Mimi. And she talks about how she had all of these people had these paintings there that came from Europe, and she talked about how she spent time in Europe, and the owner of the house, because this time the owners are actually there, say, "Hey, I've never seen." Say, "Where in Europe? I was stationed there for a while." And she says, "Well, I was well, we were close because he gave like a place. I don't remember the place, and he's like, we were right there, but we weren't there because we traveled a lot." She talks about how the kids weren't in school at the time, and she talks about how one of them had like some sort of disease. I forget what the disease was. And in the background, we see Stephanie. And Marie tries to escape because obviously she does see her, and she tries to walk away like so that way she won't approach her. But Stephanie does realize her, does notice her, and says that she called the police, and she says that she's a thief and you're a liar. And Marie is not happy about that she said that. She kind of goes crazy a little bit, like talks about how my husband's a DEA agent, you can get in a lot of trouble, and if if I had time to deal with this, I would. I thought it was pretty awesome stuff. And then Stephanie pulls her purse, and they start having a tug of war with it. And then Marie's purse breaks, and she stole the picture of the owner's house that she just went to. I thought that was pretty awesome stuff. And then she's like, "Are you serious? You're in trouble now." So then she calls Hank, and she tells him everything that happens. And Hank's like, "I can't believe you're doing this to me again." So then Marie's like in jail, and she has some guy, I forget his name. I don't even know if they've ever said his name before. And some guy bails him up and tells him she can go home, and tells her that she can go home. And Marie starts to cry. I thought this was awesome stuff. So then Skyler does end up coming up with a plan, by the way, to get the car wash. I think she has Saul find this guy that pretends that he's like a police officer or something. And they're saying that the car wash's soap is bad, that it's illegal, so they're gonna have to like shut down and get rid of it. And the guy doesn't want to because he wants to know reason why he can't be using that and all that. And everything that he's pretty much saying, he talked about all these laws Skyler's saying to him through like an earpiece. And yeah, normally when they do that kind of stuff in TV shows with the earpiece, something always goes wrong too. Like usually like the earpiece will pick up somebody else's reception. It didn't happen here. I'm at least happy that plan never works in TV shows I've seen. It does work though. The guy ends up calling. Walter was wondering, at first Walter didn't think it was gonna work. He says that you gave it a good try, let's try the nail salon. So then the guy does call, and Skyler says drops the price. It was originally $879,000 that the guy wanted to pay for, that she was gonna pay him, but then she drops down to $800,000, and then she hangs up because he refuses. And then Walter's upset, so then he's like, "I'm gonna call Saul, talk about the car wash." But then the guy calls again, and they buy the car wash. And then Skyler and Walter start celebrating, and Walter talks about, because this liquor that they were using to celebrate was named by Winston Churchill, I believe it was. Was it Winston Churchill? I forget. It was some sort of president or something. I think it was Winston Churchill, though. The Prime Minister of Great Britain. And Walter bought that for $300, and Skyler wants to know how he bought it, and he says that he paid cash, and nobody saw him. But Skyler doesn't like that he did that, because technically they're supposedly poor, because Walter doesn't, they both don't have jobs right now and all that. And Walter just pretty much Skyler pretty much wants Walter to play it safe, so they do, and they're just going to destroy the evidence by drinking it. I thought that was good stuff. And then later on, that guy that bailed Skyler out of jail wants Hank to look over the notes of Gail, because he talks about how Gail was murdered, and he found his notes to like the meth lab pretty much. And at first Hank doesn't want to do it. He doesn't think he's the right man for the job. He wants him to go to take it to Gomez, but he doesn't want it to be a DEA agent. Then he wants Hank to look at it, but Hank at first doesn't do it. and then the episode actually ends with Hank looking at it. That's how the episode ended. Overall, like I said before, I thought it was a solid episode. It was actually a pretty simple episode. The highlight of this episode was definitely Marie, though. That was actually the main focus of this episode, I believe, anyways. I wonder what they're gonna do with it. To be honest with you, I don't know why she does this. She did have this problem before, and I guess I don't know if she was technically still doing it, and they just didn't bring it up till now, or if she just started again. But to be honest with you, actually fucking smelled that the way she does it though. She just got caught. That's the only thing, that she just got caught. But I actually thought this was amazing. And she doesn't even she completely denies the fact that she's even doing it. So I wonder if Marie's pretty insane, actually. What else do we have? I like the stuff with the car wash in this episode. I like the stuff, everything actually about this episode was good. But like I said, I just thought the last episode was slightly better. This episode was good. It was solid. And I'm really enjoying the characters in this episode. Season 4 has been a good season so far. I don't really have a problem with it. But that's pretty much my thoughts. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. So you can click right here to subscribe, and I'll be back at some point to give you another video throughout the week. And if you want to check out my other Breaking Bad reviews on this channel, you can go on the playlist. So that's pretty much it, guys. See you later.